And another glorious day. This is another glorious day. Remember to re-enable game audio. I did not. Now you should have game audio. Perfect. Alright, welcome back to whatever it is I'm doing. Alright, I'm going to be playing some single-player BattleTech for a bit. If there's any interest, or if I decide to go online and do multiplayer, we'll take care of that when the need arises. I don't know why I do this. I've never had good luck with the random selection. I mean, I've had the same lance multiple times. Usually it's an urban mech and some other random garbage. Not that urban mech is entirely garbage, but I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over. And I've never had good luck with the urban mech. Incidentally, Prussian Havoc found a sort of campaign-styled system. I'll actually link to it somewhere eventually. But basically, it's the whole Inner Spirit War thing done by, I believe, a German group. Went through all the trouble putting some stuff up online. It's like innerspiritwar.eu or something. It should be easy to Google if I don't get to it before you do. Oh. Wait a second. Oh, okay, that would be why. Apex is in a different mech. Kind of fall into a bit of a rut here with what mechs I end up taking, but there's so sorry guys, there's so little variety at this point. I mean, there's mechs where if you don't like them, you're kind of out of luck. Speaking of out of luck, I've spent too much money. And I don't necessarily mind the selection being what the selection is, it's just half of the stuff I truly do not care for. Oh. I want sensor lock. Is there... Oh goodness, there's a sensor lock bulwark. Yes, you're coming with me. Panthers don't jump, do they? Your defensive monster. Let's see what goes on there. And... Witness. I always liked you, Witness. Stacks. And rainy, because it's always rainy. Wait one, I failed to reset what game I was playing on Twitch. You know, at some point, somebody's going to make some tool to make things idiot-proof for people like me. Until then, I am... Or I'll just leave the damn thing running. Yeah, that's great. Let's get some echo going through there. I'm sure hoping there are followers out there who enjoy watching people, you know, mess up repeatedly in the first few whatevers of twitching. Twitching? Streaming? I like that, twitching. Uh, back when I was working in the business with my buddy Adam, he was saying there's actually a lot of people who enjoy seeing the somewhat crude stuff that comes out of early YouTubers to see how they progress over their career, so to speak. And I certainly hope that's true because, you know, to swing things back to Dune, Princess Irulan was talking about how beginnings are delicate times for the most delicate balances. And even knowing that, I still screw it up. Speaking of which, for targets, see what I can do with this griffin. I'm afraid I did just miss whoever followed me. Believe me, I appreciate it. Okay, so I mean, it doesn't matter what I do because I can't attack, so I may as well just keep sprinting position. Okay. And Apex, longest field of fire, still in cover. Go. So I'm sure most of the people who are interested in this sort of thing have seen this before, but they've completely redone the evasion. As you can see, the evasion markers next to all the mechs. It used to be if there was a simple evasive setup, then you would end up basically just wasting your attack without putting too much. I didn't even get into line of sight. Great. Without putting too fine a point on it, you basically waste your attack just based off of how rapidly they dodge. You also have those nifty little chevrons on the side of it, which I had to have explained to me. But as you can see here, when I mouse over, target moved +8. That's because they've got 4 of those little markers up there. That's my understanding, at least. I mean, Lynx has been playing with that a bit. So, may know slightly better from the internal standpoint. It brings it a little closer to the tabletop with distance moved meaning more defensive modifiers. Okay, I'm going to pull that guy back. Without making it so, you know, once you've made a run, that's it. You're pretty much out of harm's way for the turn. something I find interesting. I mean, just as you can see, I'm not even bothering to really conserve ammunition here. A lot of these mechs have a tremendous amount of ammunition, and I mean, I think I can pretty much alpha strike for 21 turns off of that Griffin. Let's hear for the Panthers. They just don't die. But I don't even remember where I was going. Oh, the catapult. The catapult doesn't have enough ammunition for decent engagement in my experience. So I guess it's an issue of know your mech next to some tabletop designs work better than others for games of this nature. They do have jump jets. I'm sure there's plenty of people unhappy about using Panthers primarily as offensive units, but you know. It's another issue with this. The game as it's set up is a game of single battle attrition, you know? You really don't care what happens to the mechs so long as you get through this battle. Speaking of catapults. Cat Trebuchet. Oh, that's made out of paper. That's going to be nice. That's in 3, that's in 2. Well, if I got to waste a turn sensor locking, let's lock the cat. You know, the commando's not actually going to do anything to me. You know, famous last words. Trebuchets. Okay, we're going to deal with that sooner rather than later. You're the Treb, yeah? Okay. As a proud user of the Awesome here, I'm extraordinarily happy with the heat changes they have made. I can actually keep it running most of the time. Alright, ozone. Rear armor's 35. Not damaged all that much. Okay, I can flank that and make it worth my while. I come in that close. Up PPC's not going to do me any good. So we're just going to dump SRMs into his back. Oh, I was looking at the wrong mech anyway. I'm an idiot. Still too short for the PPC. How many people take out one of the racks? It's probably what Harebrained Schemes was talking about when they said, you know, when people had too many choices without the hex grid. Or fake hex grid, really. They say it all the time, but I really believe it. I love the addition of that. I love the addition of that beeping cooldown sound. And they're dotted now. That's awesome. Full marks from the colorblind, dude. You can't hit anything. What the? Yep. That's me being stupid. That is me being really stupid. Alright, we're in 3? We're in 3. They're gonna act. Thank you, back. Somebody gets a chance, it'll be easier to take them out. Had legitimately good luck with Panthers. It's always interesting when they decide to split fire like that. Amongst other things, it's absolutely new to this build. Okay, well, I've got nothing for you, so... Whoop. Yeah, I'm just gonna cook myself here. That's a great plan. Made out of paper. So we did have that interesting find with the hit locations for prone targets being much more headshot heavy. Also fixed that in this build. Really? Yeah, that seems like it'll do it. Well, I can't jump to get into PPC range. And I reverse to get into PPC range. No. No. Alright, so I can kick it, I can shoot with an SRM. Punch it, I can DFA it. The legs are chewed up. 53, I'd do 40 damage. Probably won't take it out unless I hit the LRM. This is melee for 50. I can't call a shot with a melee. And I can't get 3 points of evasion. Barely get 2 points of evasion, still hit it. Rounds away. Got a jump jet. Just what I wanted to critical. I probably should just stomp the cat. Yeah. Oh. Speaking of which, hi, how you doing? Panthers don't want to die, I'm telling you. Alright, Centurion is untouched. Treb is leading, but I can't. Of course, I'd love to smack the cat around. If I can force them to come at me and still hit the trebuchet, win-win. Right, I could have called a shot on him. Hmm. Meh. That's the left, yes, although the right. Eh. Never where I want him to hit. Uh, medium range lasers are. Sorry, medium lasers. Bah. Medium lasers are bad. At least you can stay inside the long range missile range. Who knows? Maybe I'll hit the right. Yeah, right torso. Off an ammo explosion. Yeah, well, maybe the Queen of England will show up and give me a pony, I guess. Oh, why aren't you dead? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's a called shot head that does it. I mean, there isn't a way in the world that thing was going to survive. It was the called shot head. Oh, oh, I always hate that. I'm never entirely sure if I'm within minimum range when I do that because I'm right on the line. Oh, what the hey. This match is going so well for me that it doesn't really matter. Yep, minimum range. That's great. That's wonderful use of a focus. Yeah, whatever, do it. And that was a wonderful mistake on my part. I have no words. I seriously have no words for what just happened to my awesome. And what's about to happen to my panther. That's BattleTech for you. I mean, looks like he took one other hit. And of course, the internal damage from me overheating. So that was fun. No, no surveys. Know about a bunch of them. I'm sure we all have. Ah, what the hey. Let's see if I do terribly against someone else. I'm terrible at 15 mil. Let's do 15 mil. 2 minutes. River crossing, because everybody's done river crossing. Rainy day, because it's always raining. And Mike, can't they see what makes you happy? It's not going to make a difference. Ah, hey, it's Horace. Good to see you, Horace. Oh, crap. One of the more interesting things about this stream is I'm going out of my way not to swear. Usually I'm like a one-eyed carpenter in the Navy, just profanity. Now, I've known people who are true just artists. I knew this Marine that could just, I mean, why would I give bulwark to him? It's just a terrible idea. I knew this Marine that just could swear for minutes on end and never repeat himself. It was amazing. But, you know, Marine, you figure. Yeah. It won't make any difference, Horace. It will not make any difference. Speaking of which. Oh. If anyone's highly confused about what happens to my mouse once in a while, I have a trackball. I use a recliner. Occasionally the trackball falls off the recliner. Is it still saying I'm playing Doom? No, I'm not playing Doom. I fixed this once. Hopefully that'll confuse less people. I'm pretty sure the first multiplayer match I played was against Horus. It was anyone's game until I got absolutely curb stomped. Alright, problem with new lance configurations, I'm never quite sure who's what anymore. So, already? Oh, stupid memes. It was actually funny. uh, uh, yes, yes, be professional. That's great. Really professional. Um, crap. Yeah, it's anyone's game in that first match before, you know, his Jaeger mech with one medium laser flanked my Jaeger mech, and just so many horrible RNG rolls for both of us. But somehow things came out with a fire starter. Yeah, things came out with exactly what you'd think. Absolute misery. Uh, yeah, let's make a terrible decision. I was actually, at the end of the last beta, I was actually starting to get real tired of this game. I mean, it really just... It's whatchamacallit, it's just a skirmish. It's not particularly fun. I don't exactly play games like this for fun. I got this for the... I keep forgetting, Commando's made out of paper. I got this game entirely for the mercenary sim aspect. And, well, that's quite some ways out. But since we... Oh, this is going to be fun. Since we had the newest patch drop on this particular beta, I mean, it's night and day better. And I'm still playing it, which is a big thing, actually. I mean, I'm still 100% in this game for the Merc Sim, but the actual gameplay is no longer something to just be suffered through is the wrong phrase, but it's a solid, fun little gameplay loop. It feels good. I'm about to lose a Panther, aren't I? I'm sorry, Commando. It feels good. It's tight, and it's actually pretty clear. I'm rather excited about the concept of having something this quality for a sim game. Because, I'm thoroughly expecting the sim game to be of this quality. This is a challenge, Mitch. I'm not sure this is a great idea. Those PPCs on the Panther. Well, there's just one Panther? What's the other one? There's a Locust, a Panther, a Jaegermech, Firestarter. Okay, there's no way I'm going to hit that Firestarter with all that evasion on it. Nothing I can really do with a Jaegermech. Okay, yeah. One LRM-5. That's great. How much heat? A lot of heat. How much chance? Eh. Who dares wins and all that, I guess. But quite frankly, I don't appear to have the effectiveness of the SAS. Alright, now the Jaegermech. Yeah. That's about right. That's about right. So isn't the Jenner like a 7-11 movement? I mean, shouldn't that thing be just about Locust happy? I assume he's going to take his Locust to my Kentaro. I'll shut it down. Well, if he melees me, that's certainly going to be worth something. Keyed critical, but didn't shut down. That's Interesting. Did this shut down on my turn? Did I just luck out? I mean, I'll be honest, I'll be okay with being lucky. I don't much like losing that commando. Really forgot the Locust was back there. Shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Oh, it's one of those Locusts. And that might be interesting. I'm just curious as to why I can't melee directly like that. Oh well. I actually expected far more than that. Moving on. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to do with the Jaeger mech, because, honestly, yeah, shooting the Kintaro would be a pretty decent idea. But that Jenner is going to be worth its weight in gold next turn. Pretty sure he's going to lose at least that arm. I actually thought the Kintaro was going to do better. Interesting to see what I can do about that fire starter, if anything. It's not a DFA. Okay. Mm, 60. Better off shooting a fire starter than I am DFAing it. Or maybe I'm not. I don't know. It's too late to check. Okay, that's a pay cut. That's it. Buckshot, you're off the team. Ooh, nice. Not that I necessarily disagree with what Horus is doing, but the ability to DFA with an Angel of Death and drop all that stuff that's on the fire starter is a tremendous move. I mean, kind of high risk. What was that? Kind of a high risk, high reward move, but I mean, most of BattleTech comes down to that. Kind of hoping he was gonna punch my Kintaro. I don't know. I think I have to start going with the lights are scouts and heavies are assaults. And, well, assaults are assaults. You know what I mean. And ne'er the twain shall meet, because with the exception of the Panther, I've had nothing but terrible luck with using lights on the offensive. It's just all pretend I did that all on purpose. It had nothing to do with me accidentally putting that rock between me and the Jaeger mech. That was all on purpose. And that is also a good move. Uh, don't want to mail. Go there. Sure I have line of sight. Okay, yes, that's a red line. Good. Completely expose my back because it's actually more heavily armored at this point. Machine gun ammo. Yeah, why not? Yay, jump jet! Hmm. Where's my commando of armor? What's going on here? Was I looking the wrong deck? I don't even know what's going on anymore. I should go back and check that one. Could have sworn that thing was chewed up really bad. Now it looks like the armor is fine. Quite the bug, if I was right. It's certainly making the right decision. And that shutdown would kill me. So... +1. Oh man, I just... if only would have hit that panther and done some damage, it would have been perfect. This is one of the nice parts about the fire starter, although it certainly means it's out of ammunition for the flamers. Yeah, I'll take the heat. What? What? Who? I don't care anymore. Obviously, I am not parsing things correctly and completely forgetting about that locust every single turn. Not destroyed a single one of his mechs. And I simply stayed in front of the fire starter, I would have killed it. Or I would have been more likely to. Hmm. So the Fury system is interesting. The 95% chance to hit, and getting through evasion and all that, can be a pretty big game changer. That being said, 95% still is not 100. We figured that one out. And Horace has figured out that that Jenner should probably be shot down. Okay. Or it's some love for the commando. Cool. Uh-huh, uh-huh. And you? Why not? It's one of the nice parts about being, you know, fairly not good in most multiplayer video games. Is you get to the point that, it's win or lose, it's just the entertainment value going through it. Or something. I don't know. It lets me sleep at night. Let me have it. Of course, leaving my commando there directly next to an angry panther probably wasn't a great idea. And it's about to take, what, 10 LRMs to the back? Come on, Locust. You know you can do it. Smarter. Much smarter. Oh, but not lucky enough. Alright. No. What do we have left on here? He's still pretty buff. Can't get around to the Locust this time. Still have all the armor on my rear. Get up to 4. Can I get to 4 in the woods? No. Get to 2 in the woods. Three in the woods, but I don't think I can get a shot. Okay, Mouse, you just killed me. I want to thank you, and yeah. It's been a tremendous pleasure. If you could do me the favor of not continuing to do that, then I won't replace you and throw you in a fire. Alright, fantastic. You'd better be shooting at the general. You're going to move that guy and you're going to focus. Hit the Jenner. Oh. That's one of the reasons everybody likes horse. Oh man, there's. What else can you do? Whoop. So, I've been watching too many Mario Maker runs lately. Grand Pooh Bear and Ryu. Is it Ryukan? I want to say so, but Ryokan was the sort of foreigner setup hotel thingy that they had over in Japan. But the point is, they keep saying, "Oh yeah, no, that was an easy level. It's something I couldn't have done in a week. Oh no, that was an easy level. Let's go take a look at another one." So I like to think that my playing here gives other people hope. It's like, oh well, boom. Uh, I do, I do enjoy this game, win or lose, and since there's nothing on the line, I really don't care. Um, Speaking of nothing on the line, I believe I've mentioned it before. We were talking about getting a tournament up and running. The information should be on the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech forum. Currently, I believe Dog Solitude is looking at running one. There's been some discussion of some other stuff. Prussian Havoc did find us that sort of campaignish thing. I mentioned it earlier. InnerSphereWar.eu, something like that. And we haven't tried out anything hard with any of that. On the Discord, Greybowser and I have been poking around with some bots and found some integration to pull just the brackets in to the chat. There's really nothing else for interface this time. But we'll play around a bit. We'll figure out what's going on there. When we actually get to the point of having one of those tournaments going, we'll talk about some other parts of the tournament. But right now, we've really got nothing going on as far as tourneys go. Yeah, of course, it was a lot of fun. I don't know if you were listening into the entire bit, but I did enjoy myself despite once again being rather beaten within an inch of my life. I don't know if I have another one in me. Let's try a single player with a bunch of lights. Nothing else. I'll see if I can, destroy the AI easier than human opponents. Because the AI tends to be terrible in this. Okay, it's not terrible, it's just not incredibly effective. It's easy to fool, and that's why AI is just... All you have to do is look at tool-assisted speedrunning, and you realize why AI can't replace people at this time. People make mistakes, people are unpredictable. AI just does the same thing. If you find the right set of inputs, it'll give you the same amount of outputs. If you throw in a random seed, you're putting in something less than ideal. It's something that was interesting about a lot of the missile guidance software and equations. They get very interesting, they get very complicated, but if you know how they work and you can spoof any of their inputs, they're useless. But that's pretty much machinery in a nutshell. So these guys do have jump jets, right? So I could actually throw a Paradise in there and just be a jerk about it. You actually want more of a bulwark. No reason to have multi-target. Bulwark and evasive, just in case. I realize I just pulled you off of a... Pulled you off the mech, put you on another one, but... Evasive and sensor. Yeah. Let's do that. And see, now I'm going to bore you because something popped into my head. Natural language processing, right? If you take a look at a lot of what people claim are high-end, don't call them artificial intelligence, but call them expert systems, natural language processing starts to come up. And that's because anything can handle data that's designed for it. If you want to, say, have a machine that reads a newspaper, eventually you're going to have to figure out, how it's going to get the data in. Their keyword search is actually the analyst's desktop finder. At some point in the recent past, someone had done a Freedom of Information Act to get some analyst's notebook. Not the analyst's notebook, that's a different piece of software, but some guide from the US government that contained a tremendous amount of keywords they used in, oh crap, it's the deep water. That they used in monitoring social media and things like that. And a lot of those keywords just, they wouldn't surprise you. Some of them were stupid. I realized I've used about 90% of them, mostly professionally. But they were keywords. And keywords are easy because you tell the computer to find a keyword and it finds a keyword. Boom, done. But it doesn't provide you with much context. One of my favorites is, the phrase, the dog chases the car. I mean, that seems pretty simple to you and me. It's a small four-legged animal chasing a car, right? Well, it doesn't work that way for a computer. I mean, it can make assumptions. Not all of its assumptions are all that good. But, what is a dog? Is it a slow vehicle? Is it an unattractive person? Is it a shell stop and a shotgun? Yeah, those are dogs. Is it a slang word for feet? And what about chasing? I mean, Do you mean chasing as in pursuing? Do you mean chasing as in metallic ridges being formed in steel? Even car doesn't necessarily have only a single definition in there. Okay, so natural language processing is designed to basically do what every English teacher tried to teach us in grade school. Okay, well, this is a noun, this is a verb, this is an adverb that modifies this noun, basically making those tree-like structures that I will never use again in my lifetime. Yes, I do write books. I will never again use those trees in my lifetime. And then telling the computer, this is what's in there. Okay. It consumes a tremendous amount of horsepower. I mean, I've seen systems that can do keyword searches in a matter of seconds, and I'm already reserved past everything they have. So I've seen things that run these keyword searches, I mean, incredibly quickly, that just spend minutes chewing on this natural language processing. And nothing. I mean, there's really nothing that justifies the expense of time. Oh, I should not have taken those Jenners on this lock. They don't have enough movement to really justify it. It's Commando. Alright, let's see what else you guys got. I don't even remember how I got natural language processing. Something tripped in my head and just boom. But yeah, congratulations. You get to hear about the boring side of analysis work. But I haven't driven any of you away, so I want to be careful about it. Yeah, okay, I'll roll the dice. Oh, tasking and speedrunners, yeah. So basically all you'd have to do is figure out what the inputs of natural language processing or any of the keywords, and then just change them or spoof them or, you know, idiomatics. There are a lot of things that a lot of very, very dark people do conceal their information. I don't want to talk about them, but needless to say, you know, people aren't stupid. People aren't stupid, and they'll figure out ways to do things. I mean, look at any video game out there, but Super Metroid's a great one. Some of those tricks that they use are developer at least aware, if not intended. But, you know, are those my medium lasers out to the longer range? I think so. Like the mock ball to bypass this, that, the other thing. The sort of infinite jumps that they can get. Not the wall jumps, but the really weird stuff. A pro level Super Metroid player just doesn't even play the same game that I played as a kid. I mean, it is a completely different sort of game. I suppose that's one of the things that makes it such a have such longevity is that there are different ways to play it as opposed to just Metroidvania style games. No better way to put that. Are you telling me you don't have line of sight? You do not have line of sight to that commando. Yeah, let's just save that screenshot, will we? Computer knows I was talking smack about computers. Oh. Yeah, this is the last one I got in me. Oh. Yeah, just let me guess. Now you have line of sight? That's great. Or do you have line of sight all the way over here? That'd be special. Screw it. I see they still haven't fixed that particular animation bug. Just sort of climb down the side of the hill. Oh, let me zoom in. I wanted to see it like standing up on the side of the hill, but supposedly prone or something. Oh, look. Maybe you'll tell me it won't have line of sight now. I do love the lasers just randomly firing off into nowhere. I mean, it's not XCOM style hilarity, but still. Uh, Seriously? Shouldn't he be rolling for flooding anyway because he's got a breach center torso and water? Once again, an attack of the killer AI. If the RNG is doing me any favors. Alright, Paradise, what can you do? Pretty much nothing. Hmm. Yeah, because you know I only had 5 pips of evasion. Seems like a good time to get hit with everything that's launched at me. Not that anything on the left side of a Panther is actually critical or anything, but you know. I do wish they'd go back to the BattleTech style of criticals where one hit disables a weapon. But frankly, there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions on that particular topic, so... I guess so long as people are happy with, you know, as long as more people are happy with it, whatever, I'll deal. The better this game does, the better this game does, and the closer I get to getting my Shadowrun games back. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have this game, well, not this game, but it's nice to have BattleTech back after all these years. I'm still looking forward to Shadowrun. You know, whenever that actually ends up happening. Which, unfortunately, as far as I can tell, is whenever Harebrained Schemes gets large enough to start a second studio. Studio is the wrong word. Branch, team, whatever. Oh, that was good. I mean, it wasn't great. Oh, and now it's focused. I'll cheese this. Whatever. It's AI. I'll cheese computers all day long. Okay, it's not on the line, it's outside the line. But better be outside my minimum range. Alright. You're gonna die. Die with a smile. You seriously survived that. Oh, paradise. You amuse me so. I might pull this off. Knock on wood. So torso 60. I think I can do this. Oh, I pulled that out of nowhere. Okay, well. Jeez, look at that. Barely touched my panther, though, I'll give him that. That is more than enough BattleTech for now. So I'm going to pull the plug on the stream, do the survey, and then I'll always start up with Dune in a little bit. Oh! Yeah, just as Meridian, good to see you. Alright, I can do one more. I hate pulling the plug just when somebody shows up. We have, is anybody currently doing anything? Oh, look, I can't make it raining in this one. Explain that. Oh, let's see. I haven't run a catapult in a while. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a reason for that, but I haven't run a catapult in a while. Seriously, Showboat looks like Gobbet from Shadowrun. Pretty sure I've seen the name Evil Joe around. Don't remember in what context, but it's a small community. Look at me integrating the community by using words. Okay. Showboat. You're in my heavy scout, and you waddle here. Slow mode, slow mode, slow mode. Not sure that's something I can address right away. Or it is, hold on. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know if that's a default option or if I was just setting it one day, but obviously there aren't enough people here for it to make too much of a difference. Did I seriously just send both of my scouts in the same direction? That's a terrible idea. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not actually a streamer. I literally bought a microphone and fought Windows for a week to get the audio levels this good, or this bad, I guess, because nobody is streaming BattleTech. And I figure this is one of the few things I can do to try to get them a little more, get Harebrained Schemes a little more coverage of the game. Maybe people will see it, want to play it without me talking over it, either or. And once again, when they do well, I do well. I'll be happy to see this game run forever. Updates, whatever. And when they finally get enough money to start making Shadowrun again, I will be very happy. Oh, good, good. I actually had to crank the audio all the way up. I've got a noise gate on it to try to keep the line noise out. But yeah, preamp, everything. It appears to be a known issue with Windows, both 7 and 10, that nobody's figured out yet. Or it's just a driver issue. I don't know. Yeah, I actually was in your position just a while back. I wasn't actually signed up for the beta level 1 because, well, it's a legitimate beta. This is not early access. You play, you shake down, you look for bugs. The previous incarnation wasn't even all that fun, to be honest. This is so smooth and polished. It's a great time. But I saw it streamed enough, I really liked it, and I decided, you know what, I want to play me some BattleTech. So, I upped to the Mech Warrior tier, and here we are. It was actually about that time I started watching the Q&As and everything, and Mitch and the rest of Harebrained Schemes, they're good at what they do. It was good to see Jordan Weissman actually discussing things. It's a great team. I have a lot of faith in what they're doing. I wish they'd do it a little faster, but you know. I don't like the fact that all of these Kickstarter games keep coming out sort of later and later past schedule. But considering how long I had to wait for Torment and Wasteland 2, and I actually got my pledge back for Star Citizen, unfortunately. A year overdue is not fine, but I understand because of the feature creep. Sorry, I'll double check the chat once I'm no longer on my turn. But yeah, if you got interested in the tabletop because of this game, that's great. I love the tabletop game. It's been, I don't want to say 20 years, but been at least 15 years since I've played it. But it's just such a great. I'm out of range for that. It is such a great game. I spent a lot of my childhood, and I'm dating myself here, building mechs and warships and everything from like whatchamacallit. See, there's Aerotech. Was it Battle Space? I don't know. There was actually a warship game, like spaceborne warships, and that was a lot of math for. I think I was 13 or 14 at the time. So, yeah, I actually learned a lot of. It's sad. I learned a lot of math and such from BattleTech. I love the miniatures. So there's no two ways about it. The amount of money that I've spent on Warhammer, BattleTech, I mean, the whole shebang. It's... yeah. I wish I had that money back, frankly. But really just taking a look at it and trying to get your head around the rules, it's probably worthwhile. Drive-Thru RPG has a lot of fairly inexpensive PDFs if you're interested in taking a look at anything. I mean, nothing beats a hard copy, but I don't think you necessarily need to actually shoot at them, Wildfire. Oh yeah, Pathfinder is about the same. Pathfinder Rifts. Oh man. Somebody was saying they had more role-playing games than they could play anymore. I sent them a photo of one of the many shelves that we have full of games. I got to tell you, I don't think I've actually gotten anybody together for half of these systems. I did actually get a copy of the Dune role-playing game when it was actually at cover price. Apparently, they only sold it at that Gen Con, and now it's like a $300 book on eBay. Well, my buddies wanted to run it. Never did. Like, dude, I'll loan you the book. I'm not going to sell it. It doesn't matter to me. You'll have to remind me. Total War. No, it was Max Tech, I think, was the one about the time I stopped really playing the game. At some point, I started playing. Uh, I started playing Warhammer with my friends, and it's a fun game. But if you ever want something that's just unduly expensive, that is it. And then I got my mech fix with Heavy Gear. Heavy Gear is a great game, but it doesn't have the same world. You probably should stay away from 40K. um, I got to the point where the PC games aren't really doing it for me anymore. I'm gonna pick up Total War 2 Warhammer just because of the Skaven. But that's an issue with... I was a Skaven player on tabletop. My smallest army had 81 models. Got to the point where I'd start speed painting entire regiments at once. Still averaged about an hour a model to get them done. I haven't heard of the Star Wars Legion. Is that a more wargamey thing than some of the other Star Wars? That more wargamey thing than a lot of the other Star Wars have been doing lately? Oh, Fantasy Flight. They do some really interesting stuff. I mean, their living card game model it's really interesting. And I mean that as somebody who actually worked for a small comic and card store. We had a lot of like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic tournaments and all that. But the living card game model gives you a whole different feel than buy box after box after box, searching for that ultra rare whatever. I remember buying a bunch of Warhammer 40K cards, go figure, looking for the Warhound Titan. Well, it turns out the Warhound Titan, despite being listed on the card for the sort of Season 1, Series 1 stuff, was actually a promo only. So, yeah, that was unpleasant. I'm always worried about, Star Wars miniatures, pretty much any miniatures game with an IP attached to it. Because, are they just tacking a game onto the name? BattleTech is at its core a war game. This is pretty much exactly what it does. It's just getting computerized. Star Wars board game, either your basic or miniature game. Basically, you're either just taping Star Wars over another game system, or you're getting a very poor game system built under Star Wars. The Lord of the Rings living card game, or the Lord of the Rings tabletop? Because we sold the tabletop. I don't think I ever played it. I've got a Balrog miniature around here somewhere, but it's just I've seen a lot of Fantasy Flight game stuff. We actually played Lords of Waterdeep just about a week ago, but I don't know. If you haven't heard me say this before, and I don't believe you have if you found me through BattleTech as opposed to anything else, I'm an analyst. When an analyst smells flowers, we instantly look for the casket. So I'm always trying to be pleasantly surprised by these things as opposed to being disappointed by them. One of the things I really should play ever, though, is I've got not Galactic Civilizations. That big board game that was based off of the old Dune board game. Lots of wheeling and dealing, 8 separate factions, stuff like that, but they didn't have the IP anymore, so they changed the name. I don't remember what it was. But I've never actually played it. And I don't have people to play with, so I get why you're not buying that BattleTech book right away. I actually don't want to lock the also want to lock the Jaeger mech. So I've seen a lot of guys streaming MWO, Mech Warrior Online. Are there usually people streaming BattleTech, or is it pretty much just something that doesn't happen? Oh, not a problem. I've seen a lot of guys streaming Mech Warrior Online, but I mean, do people usually not stream the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech beta, or is it just a slow time right now? Trying to get people together to change that, but it's not. The problem with the BattleTech community that we have on the board right now is it's small, and it tends to be skewed heavily towards people who have played the tabletop for a decade. So you don't see a lot of. I'm 34. I feel a little old for streaming. You don't see a lot of the 40 and 50-year-old guys doing streaming at this point. Well, if I'm the premier streamer on right now, we've got some issues. Particularly if anybody's taking my gameplay as advice. Uh, Am I awesome at getting this fight eventually? Probably not in the way I wanted to get in the fight. Yeah, I want to attract the younger crowd for the purposes of keeping the entire product line going, but there's something to be said for you know both a more mature and an older fan base. Let's put it that way. One of the people I've been talking to quite a bit, uh, Prussian Havoc, he and I actually started chatting because he started talking about was it von Clausewitz's On War, and he's the first person, other than a handful of other people, in a certain sort of grouping, that I've ever heard actually discussing that. Uh, I mean, if you're not familiar with it, it's basically this. Was he German, Austrian? It was this sort of rumination on warfare, the way Sun Tzu's Art of War was, except obviously more concentrated on the more modern facets of it. I mean, I barely know what it is. It was interesting to hear somebody else just describe something as Clausewitzian. I don't think I could ever get into Counter-Strike, though. I mean, strangely enough, Counter-Strike was one of the bigger things when I was younger, but I I appreciate that gaming has become sort of central enough that people can monetize it. That it's actually a sporting thing now. It's kind of nice. I mean, I don't expect video games to go anywhere in general, but it's nowhere near as niche a thing as it was as when I was younger. I wasn't talking to, but I asked Weissman a question during one of the live streams. Basically, it came down to, have things changed? Games used to be you'd have basically a technical guy who knew what he was doing, and we'd go from there. Now it's really heavily skewed towards a managed team. And he and Mitch were talking about how the stuff that's come out in just the past few months on Steam was larger than the first several years that Steam was in business. So everything released has to be polished. Everything has to be, an expert game, just well made. Otherwise, you can't compete with all the other stuff on the market. I mean, anybody can make a game these days. I have, and it was terrible, but anybody can make a game. It's just an issue of then you have to compete with everyone else on the market. And I don't even remember how I got on that topic, but Oh, for the love of Pete! Get into combat! I can't do the Twitch gaming online stuff. I have enough trouble with doing so with people in person. Every once in a while, I have a run of good luck in one of those games. I mean, everybody does. Um, my buddies and I made a couple of different game types. One of them was Predator, which it was a free-for-all, but the entire point was everybody had a sword, and everybody had whatever other weapon they could scrounge up, right? But it was something like, well, it's basically tag, and whoever was it could use the sword. I think there was an invisibility thing that we did to, the Juggernaut. Oh yeah, was that it? Yeah, Juggernaut or whatever. And it was fun. It was different. I liked it. But that sort of game type I did well with for a while. Eventually, people got their legs under them. I was the first to discover the disarm button in Perfect Dark Zero. That was funny. Compi. We had a game we called Compi. I assume entirely because of Harvey Birdman. Because what it was is capture the skull. Everybody had rocket launchers. No shields. It was quick. It was a quick game. Alright. I was modding this game for a bit. Actually have a mech editor program that I put out. It doesn't deal with the armor. It was just something I wasn't interested in tweaking at the time. It's entirely for the weapons loadout. There's actually another program you can download to modify the armor, or the JSON files are easy enough to edit on your own. But come on, Griffin, stay up. Oh, not good. So, Yeah, I think that'll do. That'll do nicely. But yes, just like that. uh, but I mean, I was tacking on every weapon I could possibly get onto the Awesome, and it was just bristling with missile tubes and PPCs. Um, that's when I found out that there is a maximum weapon limit on a mech of, I believe, 13. It's either 12 or 13. Okay, that's going to be the end of the Griffin, isn't it? Yeah. It's not the way I wanted that to go down. Well, and welcome back. But there's a lot of stuff you can do by editing the files. One of these days, just for the sake of, irony, I'm gonna make a Macross mod. I mean, just call it that, just for the Harmony Gold joke. And basically, I'll just set up for missile spam instead of a mech firing, 15 LRMs, 5 damage each. Why not have them fire 75 at 1 damage each? Of course, I have to up the ammo limits, but I mean, just until I get bored of watching missiles get fired. Uh, Although I'm very happy. I mean, it could be that people are looking at multiplayer because I mentioned it on the forums and Discord, but basically I started a lobby and somebody came in almost instantly. And it hasn't locked up, which it usually does after a bunch of matches. So, been rather fortunate. It looks like there's more people playing, too. Ooh. That could get interesting real quick. Alright, so Oop. Katyusha, привет. And for some odd reason, I never get tired of the Katyusha joke. It's so there's a Russian song Katyusha. It basically translates out to Katie, right? It's diminutive for Catherine. It's this. I don't know if I want to call it Russian or Soviet. I mean, at the time, same thing. But the song, the man goes off to war, the woman waits at home, and remembers him, and so on and so forth. And, classic war song. And there's a line, basically, and Katie says hello, Katie says her regards, whatever. Well, the nickname for the multiple launch rocket system the Russians used was Katyusha. So every once in a while when I fire a whole bunch of rockets, I just get, like Katyusha sends her regards. От Katyusha Privyat Privyat? I think that's it. Don't quote me, my Russian is terrible. Oh, that's a terrible idea. I don't want to close on the Hunchy. I will take that risk. But if you're ever in the air about whether or not you want to pick up the Mech Warrior package, it's generally worth it. But eventually they're going to shut down the beta, so they've said. And I don't know if that's going to be a day before release. I don't know if that's going to be a month before release. But they did promise we'd get a solid month to play. It's probably getting close to it. But I really doubt they're going to do anything too... I doubt they're going to pull it any sooner than they need to. I mean, Harebrained Schemes is well aware of the worth of people playing it, having fun, providing feedback. We have found so many just random edge cases. Wow. Okay, that might have just saved me. There's a 2-hit penalty whenever anyone stands up. And I mean, I don't think I have anything to take a shot on him, a called shot while it's prone. But just needing to stand up provides me a nice level of safety. Well, see, that's a problem I've got. Ooh, how much is left in that leg? A lot. Hope you'll take the leg. Won't be able to crack. Get close to cracking the center torso. Do some good damage to the left. If that thing goes, it takes about... It's a lot of heat sinks. I'm just going to go with center torso here. The environment designers did an excellent job on this game. I mean, this, like you said, the snow in front of the camera, it's amazing. I'm not sure how they're doing this particular effect, but I noticed I was working on a mod for it's an Unreal Tournament mod for Heavy Gear way back in the day. And I had just sort of been watching my buddies play Oblivion so much that I figured out how they did the sandstorm effect. It was very nice, very low very low pressure on the game engine because it was all flat sprites just moving on rails. And with, translucency, it got to... Are you freaking kidding me? With translucency, pardon me. Well, with translucency effects, it looked like a sandstorm. So I'm not sure if these are particle effects in front of the camera. I don't know if they're just wow. So I don't know if they're particle effects. I don't know if they're just sprites, but it is incredibly attractive. And if you haven't seen uh, the Martian planets yet, check out the Harebrained Schemes YouTube channel. They did a sort of demo playthrough of the sort of a little mission on the Martian terrain, and it was really nice to watch. What do you mean? Man, RNG is just terrible for me today. And where is Wildfire in all of this? This is also the first time we got to see vehicles on the field. I'm not one to get all defeatist in the middle of a match, but it's winding down. Just want to mention once again, we are trying to put together a tournament over on the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech forum and in Grey Mouser's unofficial Discord. Dog Solitude is going to be running it. He's done a lot of tournaments in the past. Pretty good results there. I'll get you more information when I have it. To be honest, I think I'm actually going to put a link to that thread in the Twitch channel just for the sake of not having to relink it repeatedly. Otherwise, if anybody's interested in that, either watching it or if anybody with multiplayer beta access wants to join in, let us know. My primary goal is getting more... Oh, this is going to be bad. Getting more attention to the game. Try to get more people involved. Particularly with the younger crowd. Once again, one of the biggest things we want to do is sort of ensure longevity of the brand. And that's something that would be much easier to do if we have another generation of players interested in keeping up with the series. Tell you what, we desperately need like engine and gyro crits in this though, because seriously, there needs to be slightly more that they can do to this machine. Well, the fact that it has. Did you just completely whiff? Well, the fact that it has nothing left covering the front half of it. So I'm wondering if the engine did blow out and overheat, because that was a lot of random structural damage, unless it was just the missile text pop. It was probably just the missile text popping up. Alright. Let's finish this. One of these days I need to figure out which of the Jaeger mechs actually has a better damage output. Because one of the biggest things with Harebrained Schemes versus the tabletop is there's just... Tabletop autocannons are terrible. There's no reason to ever have them. Should have asked Weissman on that Q&A what he ever thought he was doing when play balancing the autocannons. Weissman's Kids actually has a game series coming out. It's going to be a trilogy of games, not quite like a legacy game, but it has an app component, and if certain things happen in the first set of games, then the second set of games, the individual groups and houses would have different strengths and weaknesses and such. It's an interesting concept. I'm really looking forward to it. Last I saw, there's no release date, though, so... Wait, what did he? Okay, he just blew off his own arm. I was gonna say, if he just blew himself up from heat, that'd be hilarious. I did pick up Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Just need to get people actually committed to playing through it with me. Because if you're not familiar with the Legacy games, uh, you actually change the way the game is played as you play it. Depending on your wins and losses, so on and so forth, you'll have cards torn up, you'll have cards with stickers on them, you'll have different rules applied. It's actually a really neat concept. So much whiffing. I mean, there are ways that you can get around that. You can still play the base Pandemic game, but I like the concept of something a little more. Uh, I guess legacy is one of the best words for it, but there's a little more permanence in it. You know, when something big happens, you remember it. You actually worry about. You worry about the next playthrough. You worry about long-term effects, and it's kind of refreshing for a game like that. I've got a couple of buddies playing Seafall right now. They seem to think it's okay. I've read spoilers through to the end. I will not discuss them for obvious reasons. But a lot of the things that I've seen are it's fun, but people are expecting too much based off of the previous Legacy games. So take that for what it's worth. I haven't heard any complaints from any of my friends about it, but on the other hand, I believe I've covered this in one way or the other. We're old school role players. We'll make anything fun. Uh, Lunch Money. Lunch Money was a card game about a bunch of school kids beating each other up out in the schoolyard. And I remembered the game being incredibly fun. It's actually not very good. It was the table talk we had that made it fun. And that's something that you don't get with games like this. You know, computer games, BattleTech like this. You don't get the tabletop. You don't get the thunking of the dice on the table. You don't get that physical feedback. It's the people involved that make all the difference. I am interested to see how they implement the character generation for this game because um, they mention it as far as you go through phases in life and you build your character up from there. And I've seen it done in multiple different ways in different games. Twilight 2000, it was actually fairly random, but you basically took your character through their life up through the final war. And then you had Twilight 2013, which was much less random, but basically you once again lived your character's life, and could even become seriously injured or even crippled during character generation. And that led to some interesting points, particularly where my roommate refused to play a character because, oh no, he was a pacifist. How can anyone roleplay as somebody who can't kill people on demand? But whatever. You're supposed to have fun in a game. I don't blame him for not wanting to do so. And then I've seen Atomic Highway, which I love Atomic Highway. It's a great game. But the background character generation is basically pick one from each of these. You get some bonus points. Go forth and sin no more. It's a great game. Character generation is quick. Everything about the game is quick. But it doesn't give you that, reading through the rule book, man, I'm really amped to play this game feel that a lot of other games can. Let me just finish this off. Oh, yeah, when you have an amazing tabletop group, you have an amazing tabletop group. When you have a garbage tabletop group, you have a bad tabletop group. Guy, he's an acquaintance. I wouldn't necessarily call him a friend, but I don't like playing games with him anymore because he's a min-maxer. He goes online and finds all the ways to abuse the system and does them. But what really gets me is when we were playing Warhammer, he was so defeatist. The second anything went his way, first turn, he's like, we'll never win now. It's not worth playing. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And that's not hyperbole. He actually did that first turn in a match when he was a partner of mine, and we won 3 turns later. You have a good team, you got a good team. If you got a garbage team, you got a garbage team. There's no two ways about it. Oh, speaking of garbage, I got eaten alive. Ah, well. That's the way the games roll. Okay. Now I'm going to punch out, take the survey, probably go grab something to eat, finish up some other stuff, and then I will be back to go play Cryo's 1992 epic video game, Doom. You're not going to be here because you want to watch BattleTech? I understand completely. Otherwise, I'm Michael Farragher from Between the Borders. Be safe.